Welcome back to physics class. In the last class, we discussed friction, different types of frictional forces, different definitions by name, coefficient of static friction, by name coefficient of static friction, mu s nothing but the ratio of Fs by n. Secondly, coefficient of kinetic friction denoted by mu k, which is nothing but kinetic frictional force divided by normal reaction, and coefficient of rolling friction nothing but mu r, which is defined as the ratio of rolling frictional force to the normal reaction. These we finished in the last class. And coming to today's class, what are the laws that should be followed while discussing about friction, and what are the advantages, of course disadvantages, and finally what are the different methods employed to reduce the friction between the bodies. Today's concepts. Let us welcome to this. Number one, let us observe what are the laws of friction. The laws of friction. What do you mean by this? Majorly from our discussion, we can prepare the abstract. They are nothing but the laws of friction. I will try to give in 4 major points. Number one, frictional forces comes into exist when there is a relative motion between the two bodies. Once again, frictional forces comes into exist only when there is a relative motion between two bodies, and moreover, for example, these are the two bodies, say one body on the surface of the other body, and they act parallel to this one only. If it is moving in this direction, frictional forces comes into anyhow, they are parallel to the surface of contact. That is number one. Number two, coming to number two, these frictional forces depends on the nature of the two contacting surfaces. Nature means in the sense what is the type of the materials which are in contact, and what are the impurities between these two. Of course, very important point, what is the degree of polish, that means the degree of smoothness, how smooth they were polished, the degree of polish. This is the second one. Once again, what do you mean? The laws of friction, according to second law, the friction between two contacting surfaces depends on the nature of the two materials which are in contact. Nature of the material means what is the type of the material, whether they are wooden, otherwise whether they are made with aluminum or iron or somebody else, and moreover the degree of polish and how smooth they are, and what are the impurities present between these two, and of course the temperature of the two contacting bodies also. That is why this is called the nature of this one. Coming to third one, very important and interesting, the frictional forces does not depend on the area of the contact, area of the contacting bodies, surface area of the contacting bodies. That means, see, for example, here is one surface and the common contacting surface is this one. For example, in this case, if it is very large, that means here the contacting surfaces have common surface, more common surfaces. Generally, our misconception is in this case the friction will be more. because the contacting area is more. In this case, the contacting surface is less, that's why the friction will be less. That is our misconception, not correct. It does not depend on the area of contacting bodies. If it is so, one previous question, examination question, I will try to give. Cycle brakes, is it advisable to fix bicycle brakes of larger size? Larger size brakes means generally what we feel is more will be the braking forces. No, that's wrong, because it is independent of area of the contacting surfaces. That is third one. And coming to fourth one, these frictional forces are found to be directly proportional to the normal reaction. Frictional forces are found to be directly proportional to normal reaction. These four together are called laws of friction. Laws of friction. Once again, I will summarize for your convenience sake. Number one, they comes into exist only when there is a relative motion between two bodies and they act parallelly. Number one. Coming to number two, the frictional forces between two contacting surfaces depends on nature of the contacting surfaces. Nature in the sense, what is the type of the material, nature of the material, if it is rubber, otherwise it is wood, otherwise it is iron, otherwise a combination of wood and iron, like that, and the impurities present between the two contacting surfaces, and also what is the temperature of the two contacting surfaces. Coming to number three, it does not depend on the area of the contacting surfaces, common area of contact. It does not depend on area of the contacting surfaces. Finally, the frictional forces are found to be directly proportional to the normal reaction. Directly proportional to the normal reaction, which I am going to discuss in detail. What is the normal reaction in different cases? When your body is kept on horizontal, what is the normal reaction? And when it is on inclined plane, how it is resolved and what is the resultant of this normal reaction? Right? Welcome. Let's move to the next one. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Let's come one by one. Advantages of friction. What are the advantages of friction? In the last class, I clearly mentioned one sentence. It is mostly wanted, unwanted thing. This friction is. It is very funny. It's mostly wanted, unwanted thing. That's why we can study what are the advantages of friction and what are the disadvantages of friction also simultaneously. Now, what are the advantages of friction? Can you believe it is not possible to walk on the surface of the ground without friction? I think it is best, out of the best example. We can't walk on the surface of ground without, if there is no friction. That means when we lie down our foot, the friction between the ground and our foot, these two produce frictional forces, hence it is possible to push back the ground and walk. Walking, running is not possible without friction. Number two, screws does not fit into the walls, nails does not hold without friction. Your pen cap, it does not hold tight without friction. It is not possible to impart motion to different parts of engine by using belts in your motorbikes. What that is called a chain is there, that is between two wheels. If there is no friction, we can't run these two axes simultaneously. These are the advantages of friction. Like this, we can give a number of examples where friction is required. Friction is essential. Number two, Let us study what are the disadvantages of friction. Disadvantages. Disadvantages of friction. So many disadvantages are there. Number one, I will try to give few points which we are observing in our routine life, in our daily life. See, wear and tear of the engine parts takes place because of friction. That means the power is wasted in the form of heat, energy is wasted. If you touch your bike engine parts when it is moving after some time, it works for some time, you feel it is hot. What do you mean by this? A part of the energy delivered by the engine is converted into heat energy. It is nothing but a loss of energy. Number two, the wear and tear. The wear and tear takes place which damages the parts of the machinery. These also under disadvantages of function. That means the two bodies which are in contact with other bodies moving, they get spoiled quickly because of the presence of friction. So, like this, friction has some advantages and friction has some disadvantages also. Then how to reduce this friction? That means friction is needed, but it has some disadvantages. Then our job is friction, we should use the friction, the uses of friction, but we have to reduce the damage due to friction. That how to reduce friction? How to reduce the friction? Number one, first one is by using lubricants. By using lubricants, and whenever small machinery parts we feel it is tough to move them, we are applying some lubricant just like coconut oil between the parts of the engine, which can make the engine run smoothly. The such are called lubricants. Grease is applied. Grease is applied between the axles of machines so that it reduces the friction. That is one type of method. And number two, by arranging ball bearings. First one is lubrication. Second one is by applying ball bearings. What is the technique of ball bearing? Ball bearing converts kinetic frictions to rolling friction, which is very less than kinetic and static friction. That is why the wheels are arranged with ball bearings which can move very comfortably, very lightly without damaging the parts. That means use of ball bearings. And coming to number three, by streamlining the parts of the engines. Very oftenly we come across the ads of newly released cars. That is called streamlining. The shape of the bikes and cars are streamlined so that the friction due to air will be reduced. In this way, we can reduce the friction. So, once again, what are the highlights? Number one, what are the advantages of friction? And number two, what are the disadvantages of friction? And number three, how can we reduce the friction? In the previous cases, normal reaction, one particular word is there, normal reaction. Now, I am going to explain how this normal reaction can be measured in different cases. That means generally in case 1, when the body is placed on horizontal surface, see this is case 1, body is placed in horizontal surface. In this case, the weight of the body mg will act vertically downwards. This is mg, and the normal reaction by the surface on the body acts vertically upward. This is normal reaction. Most commonly, what else we have? If there is applied force or pulling force F, then automatically the frictional forces into exist. So this is a situational diagram while solving problems in the cases where the body lies on horizontal surface. Similarly, in this case, what is the normal reaction? Normal reaction N is equal to mg. Normal reaction. Now, what other cases, what are the possibilities? If the same body is placed on an inclined plane, see, this one inclined plane means like this. A plane which makes a certain angle with the horizontal is called inclined plane. This is inclined plane. When the same body is supposed to be placed on the surface of this inclined body, this is the situation. Observe carefully. This is the case. In this case, what are the different forces acting on this body? Let us consider the different forces. First, it is convenient to you to write what is that its weight mg. Why? Because mg always acts vertically downwards irrespective of position of the body, irrespective of the situation, because Earth's acceleration due to gravity pulls the body downwards, which is defined as its weight. So, I am drawing first this one. Number 2, the normal reaction by the inclined plane onto the body, that means this will be like this. This is vertically upwards. This is normal reaction. But the question is, what is the value of normal reaction in this case? Let us suppose the angle of inclination is theta in this case. Theta is the angle of inclination. What is the angle of inclination? The angle made by the inclined plane with the horizontal is called the angle of inclination. Now, I am going to resolve this mg into two components by namely vertical component and horizontal component. Then we will obtain the condition for balancing. See how it is. Just I am resolving these two like this. It is nothing but mg cos theta, and one more one, it is in this direction. It is nothing but mg sin theta, mg sin theta. Imagine in the previous case, here it is a pulling force, then frictional forces comes into exist in the opposite direction according to the definition. Here, when it is on inclined plane, it has a tendency to move. Then automatically the frictional forces comes into exist in the opposite direction. These are frictional forces. So this is the total scenario of inclined plane. Nothing else to buy hard. Nothing else. One thing, its weight mg acting vertically downward. Normal reaction which is making 90 degrees with this surface is acting upwards, perpendicular to the inclined plane. Perpendicular means not in the sense of perpendicular to the inclined plane. And this weight mg is resolved into two components, two mutually perpendicular components, horizontal component and vertical component, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. For the balancing condition, balancing state, this frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta, which are equal and opposite in state of equilibrium, and the normal reaction is equal to mg cos theta. So, in this case, normal reaction N is equal to mg cos theta. That is all. While doing the problems, we can use the normal reaction, because it is nothing but the definition of F is equal to mu is equal to F by N. In place of N, you have to use mg cos theta here. In case of horizontal body, you have to replace with mg only. That is all. Now, next item, angle of repose. Angle of repose. What do you mean by this angle of repose? Generally, it is represented by, it is denoted by alpha. Angle of repose. See, this is the condition. I am considering a horizontal platform where a body having certain mass is placed on it. This is what else we have, as we discussed just now, its weight mg will act downward and its normal reaction will act vertically upward, and this is the direction of frictional forces, and this is applied force direction. Okay. What is the resultant of frictional force and normal reaction? Frictional force and normal reaction. This may be like this, mostly this may be like this. Once again, the resultant of frictional force and normal reaction definitely lies between these two, which is nothing but F or this resultant force. The angle made by the resultant of normal reaction and frictional force, be careful, with whom? With the normal, is defined as angle of repose. This is called angle of repose. Shall I repeat once again? When a body of mass m is placed on a horizontal plane, its weight mg will act vertically downward and normal reaction act vertically upward. If F is the applied force which is pulling the body towards right, then frictional forces will be induced opposite to it in the left side direction. So these are the frictional forces and this is the normal reaction. The resultant of frictional forces and the normal reaction is represented by Fr, resultant force. The resultant of these two made certain angle with the normal reaction. We consider this one as alpha. This is called angle of repose. In a textual language, the angle of repose is defined as the angle made by the resultant of frictional force and normal reaction with the normal is defined as angle of repose. It is denoted by alpha. See, for your convenience, I will do like this. This is alpha. From the figure, what is the value of tan alpha? What is the value of tan alpha? You know very well what do you mean by tan alpha? Opposite side by vertical. Opposite side by adjacent side is defined as tan alpha. Here, what is opposite side? It is nothing but it is symmetrical to frictional force. And what is the adjacent side? It is nothing but n. If you observe carefully, again it is nothing but the ratio of static frictional force to normal reaction, which is defined as mu s, coefficient of friction. That's why tan alpha is equal to mu. That's all. This is relation between these two. And if we make this alpha a subject, which is nothing but tan inverse mu. This is one more way of expressing alpha. What this alpha is called? Angle of repose. Now I am trying to give one more, which is nothing but angle of friction. Generally it is denoted by theta. Now see how it is. How can we represent this one? Imagine a body on a horizontal surface. Please pay attention. It is a horizontal plane. Just I kept a body on the surface of this one. What happened if I gradually I am increasing the slope of this one like this? That means see, it is best example. It's a plane. Here I am placing this duster. It is horizontal plane. Here I am placing it. If we increase this slope gradually like this, it begins to slide. That means if I increase this level to certain, gradually I am increasing the slope, stage 1 like this, stage 2 like this, stage 3 like this. At this instant, if the body begins to slide down, the particular angle at which the body placed over it begins to move is defined as the angle of friction. Once again, if you got it, you can prepare the definition yourself. Otherwise, you have to by heart it. Today you have to by hearting, and tomorrow you will forget. It's natural. Try to learn it as a content, just like a story. And there is no chance for forgetting this. When a body is placed on a plane, the angle of inclination for which the body placed over it just begins to slide, is defined as angle of friction, called angle of friction. Okay. Now see, for this angle of for this particular angle, the body placed over it begins to slide down. Okay, now this is the condition. Now what is the condition for equilibrium in this case? Try to establish the different forces act on it as we learned just now. See, its weight, number one, its weight mg will act downward, and one more, this is theta. Normal reaction will act vertically upward, and this weight can be resolved into components by name mg cos theta, and this is mg sin theta, and this is the frictional force that comes into exist when this body try to slide down, tends to slide down, and this is called normal reaction. I am trying to write the condition for balancing state. Balancing state means it's clearly this mg sin theta is a downward trending force, whereas it is trying to oppose by this frictional force, which is nothing. Just begins to means it is correct to write Fs, static frictional force. That means mg sin theta is equal to Fs, static frictional force. Say it equation 1. Okay. Now what is the next set? Other set is normal reaction vertically upwards, and exactly opposite to this one, mg cos theta. That's why mg cos theta is equal to n. Say it equation 2. Divide equation 1 with equation 2. What we have is, see, mg sin theta by mg cos theta, left hand side. Coming to right hand side, it is nothing but Fs by n. Similar terms, mg, mc gets cancelled. So tan theta is equal to, can you write this one? Can you write this one in terms of coefficient of friction? Simple, very simple. It is nothing but coefficient of static friction. This is tan theta is equal to mu s. Okay, now dividing equation 1 with 2, we have mg sin theta by mg cos theta, that is equal to Fs by n. mg gets cancelled. Sin theta by cos theta means tan theta is equal to mu s. Where this theta is called angle of friction. Now we can establish a relation between angle of repose and angle of friction. Angle of repose, what we have already, that means when it is placed on a horizontal surface, and these are the different components. It is normal reaction, and this is mg, and this is frictional force, and this is applied force, and the angle made by the resultant of normal reaction frictional force is nothing but alpha. In the figure, this tan alpha is given by, it is nothing but Fs by n, which is nothing but mu s. That means observe carefully, tan alpha is equal to mu s. Where alpha is called angle of repose. Okay, here angle theta is called angle of friction. From these two equations, tan alpha is equal to mu s and tan theta is equal to mu s. Hence, what we can say, right hand sides are same. mu s and mu s. Hence we can say tan theta is equal to tan alpha, nothing but theta is equal to alpha. Theta is equal to alpha. Means what? What do you mean by theta? Angle of friction is equal to what is alpha? Angle of repose. Means what? See, I am going to summarize the statement. Angle of repose and angle of friction are same. Angle of friction means the angle made by the resultant of frictional force and normal reaction with the normal is called angle of repose. The angle of friction is the angle of the inclined plane for which a body placed over it just begins to move. That is called angle of friction. These two are numerically equal.